Okay, Marie, tell me how I can help you.
Okay, so I have a situation I want to make better, like you were discussing at the beginning there. My question is, how do I get through to my husband that leaving an active role in our business is not leaving the marriage?
Well, that sentence stands on its own accord. I am staying in the marriage and I'm not going to work in the business. So where do we go from there?
He's angry, upset, and says I might as well just leave him because he is the business, and he goes on these rants, and he's taking it very personally.
Sounds like it. Why does he take it personally? Is it his identity that he is the business and the business is him, and apart from the business there is no Joey? Or is it that he feels
Probably.
like he needs your help so much to make it successful? Is it a business problem? Or does it feel like a personal rejection? Which one is it?
I think it's both. He has said
Both?
in the past he doesn't know what he'll do without me, but he has anger issues and can get quite toxic. And so I kind of feel like it's a boundary that I've been pushing off, and it's not better. And so I'm just wondering if leaving the business will help, or if there's other things you'd recommend. He's very
let me ask you
stubborn.
this. Let me ask you this. If apart from leaving the business, are you guys great? Apart from that,
No,
does he get angry about other stuff?
other stuff too. I just thought if leaving the business would then reduce the pressure of there'd be less things for him to be angry about.
Well, it sounds like they'd only be replaced by him being angry about your leaving. So you take all the little things in the business and add them up together, and now he's really mad about this. So it's kind of a wash in the end, right? Because it sounds like the problem is not leaving the business. The problem is that he gets very angry when apparently you do things different than he wants. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, if I disagree or have another opinion, I can be strong-minded too.
Well, that's good.
And he doesn't like that.
Okay, so what kind of work have you guys done on this issue?
I've been in a lot of counseling, and then I joined CR last year. He's not really into counseling, so he's gone a couple of times. We tried a few different ones, and he's always ended up, I'm not going back. And we finally found a guy he respected that seemed to get through to him a little bit, but now he's back to, what do I need to go pay that money for? We can work on this. I'm going to work on this myself. But I said, I need a third party. And then it kind of presses him, and he maybe will go one more time. And it feels
Okay,
really like the only kind of.
Would he go one more time? Would he go one more time?
Yes, we had a conversation last week, and he says, fine, I'll go one more time.
Okay. All right. So here's what he's saying. And it would sound something like this, hubby. I understand that you feel like you don't need this. Am I hearing you right? And what would he say?
Yes, if I can't fix it on my own, if we can't fix it together, then what's the point? Why would we need a third party?
Well, I wish and I hope we don't, if it gets fixed. So if we can go back one more time and we can define, here's the things that you need from me, and here's the things that I need from you. and we mutually agree upon those expectations. And then we leave here and that behavior happens, then you're right, we don't have a problem. What we need to not leave this session without is an understanding that if it continues, then what do we do? Because the way you're describing it is you're certain we can do it. I hope that's true. But if you, and whatever your expectation is, if you scream at me every time I don't want to do, if I don't agree with you or whatever, then what are we going to do then? Because the problem is not fixed. So what I can't have is a plan that doesn't have a contingency for what we do if it doesn't work. And I would go to one more session to ask to figure out that contingency.
And with the idea of staying in the business then?
I don't think the business,
I feel like I'm
I don't
stuck.
think, well, I don't know. We'd have to address that one separately. I mean, ultimately, of course, you can say I'm not leaving you, honey. I'm leaving the business. I'm going to do it, and he's going to get mad, and then you deal with that aftermath and that collateral damage, whatever that causes. I don't know all the intricacies that are involved there, but that's not the problem. That's a context that the problem
Right.
is being lived out in. Now, if you want to address that problem, what I would suggest, now I don't know if this is going to be ultimately helpful or not, I don't know, but I would sit down with him and I would say, whenever we have a difficult conversation, what we need a space of psychological safety to be understood. And so I would sit down with him and say, is it possible to you for us to sit down and we try to just understand each other about this issue? I really want to understand why my leaving the business feels so awful to you. I really want to understand that, because maybe if I understand it, then I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe we can find a solution. Maybe we can find a way to do it where I can still meet those needs. But I want to understand, because sometimes it sounds like you think the businesses fail, which I believe in you a lot more than that. And I don't think I'm indispensable, but sometimes it feels like a personal rejection of you. And I know I'm still loving you and committed to you. So I just need to understand. And sometimes if you make a space for that conversation, then somebody can edge over into vulnerability where you really get out there what it really feels like. You make a connection, you find a solution. That's generally what good counseling is going to provide for y'all. So you could do that,
Right.
and you could just ultimately say, well, I'm just leaving. I probably wouldn't leave it without having a deep conversation like that, where he feels like you really care and understand, even if he throws up in your face about it. But I would try that first. And then if ultimately you got to decide, I don't want to be in the business anymore. And then y'all are going to deal with the anger and disappointment that he has, and however you deal with that. So I don't think you're going to avoid the anger problem by avoiding the anger problem. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So that wouldn't be like a healthy boundary to kind of have him wake up and see that I can't tolerate the treatment. It's more just no.
Oh,
It's not
certainly.
going to help.
Whoa. Hold on a second. I hope I didn't sound like I want you to tolerate mistreatment. I'm not saying that at all.
Well, I know that.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
You could say, I really want to talk about stuff. And if you get angry and start screaming at me, I'm going to stop the conversation until you can talk to me without doing that. And if you can't, then we'll only talk about it in a counselor's office. I mean, I don't want anybody being abused. All I'm saying is, and I'm not saying you have to stay in the business. All I'm saying is that it sounds like the business thing is not the only issue. The issue
Yes.
is the dynamic of the anger when you have a mind of
Yeah.
your own. And that's playing itself. If you didn't have a business, it would be somewhere else in the picture. That's all I'm saying. So you can, of course, you can have the
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do that. But I'm just telling you, it's not going to solve the problem. It's just going to change the field that it gets played out on.
Yeah. And I just think that if I do this, it could, like, he might want a divorce because he's threatened. So I don't want to rip my marriage apart with my own hands.
Well, you're not, first of all, you're not ripping your marriage apart with your own hands because you're not choosing or threatening divorce. You're saying, I'm still committed to you. I'm in the marriage if this is what you're going to choose, but I'm not going to work in the business. If you choose to divorce me because of that, I can't believe that you would choose the business over me, but I can't control that. So I don't, my point is, I don't think you're ripping it apart if you
Yeah.
choose to not work in a business. That would be like slavery.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think I'm just trying to give
Okay.
you a path where maybe you can get to dealing with the real problem where the business problem could be solved in the context of dealing with the bigger problem. But ultimately, I mean, if you can't
Yeah.
go in the business anymore for whatever good reasons, you might say today, I'm done and we're going to deal with this. Now let's go deal with it together. You can go that route. Of course, it's not bad to have boundaries.
And would it be manipulative then to say, well, I can stay on if you agree to get some counseling with me, or is that controlling?
Well, nothing's controlling when you give people choices.
Right. Okay.
But do you want to stay in the business?
Well, I guess, like you said, that's probably a deeper problem, and I'm maybe hoping too much is going to be better and it's really not the problem.
No.
So I
But that
guess if
still
the
doesn't.
problem is,
No. Hold on a second. Make sure you hear me right. What I heard you at the first was the reason you want to get out of the business was not his anger. You wanted to get out of the business because you want to get out of the business. Am I wrong?
because I'm of the hurt, and I'd rather do something else with my
Well,
time.
that's what I thought you were saying. You want to rather do something else with your time. If you're saying
Yeah.
you want to get out of the business because it's a hostile work environment, then we're back to the same issue. So you can lump them together then. If you're saying, well, I'd love to be in the business if it didn't hurt so bad to be in there, you could say, I'll stay. Then you could say, I'll be glad to stay in the business if we can solve this problem of the anger. But that's not what I understood in the beginning. What I understood in the beginning was you just wanted out of the business, even if he were the
Well,
world's nicest guy.
I guess I can't. How do I know that for sure? Because it's so painful with the blow-ups that I guess I don't know what it would be like without that.
Well, that's a wonderful thing to say. That's a wonderful thing to say in the counseling. You could say, and I've got to run after this, but you could say,
Yeah.
You could say to him, you know what? In thinking about this, I'm open to staying in the business. What I'm not open to is staying in the business with all the pain and the blow-ups. I'm not open to that.
Okay.
You could do that.
Yeah.
You could do that. You could say, if we can go to counseling, again, the problem is the blow-ups, whether you're in it or out of it. That's what you're telling me. It's the problem is blow-ups. Now you're saying I might have to have a boundary on not
Yeah.
going into the business because there's too many blow-ups there and I can handle it at home, but I can't handle it 24/7, right? So
Yes.
if you want to put those together, because that isn't, you could tell him, I'm open to staying in if we can solve this. That's fine if that's what you want to do. I heard you when you first called, and this is my mistake. I heard you saying, I want to leave the business, and he's upset about that. So, of course, you can do that.
Well, I would. Yeah. Okay. I guess I don't know exactly what I want. I think I want to leave, but then yeah.
You might be, see, again, that's my point. The anger is obfuscating everything. Well, it gets in the way of it. I don't even know what I want because all I'm doing is dodging bullets all the time, right?
Yep.
So I'd probably say,
Okay.
you know what, I I don't know if I can stay or not. I know that I can't make that. I know I can't stay with all the anger and everything because it hurts to go to work. And I want to go talk about that. So if we can solve that, then we might can make the decision, is the business the right place for me or not? You can do it that way.